You are listening to Bhagavad Gita for All, a practical guide for everyday life. A lecture series by Nalin Narula. Chapter 1. Observing the armies on the battlefield and the consequences of war.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Last time we had completed text 35, and the continuity is that Arjun is having a panic attack and he is not wanting to fight his relatives and friends. He's seeing all his dear ones, friends, in-laws, everyone there, fathers, teachers, sons, grandsons, cousins. And he is saying that what is the use if I kill them all and survive? What am I going to get out of it? Because nobody is going to be there to appreciate it, firstly. Secondly, I am very compassionate towards my relatives. So he is in false ego mode, material illusion. So he is prepared to give up even his dharma as a Kshatriya who is supposed to protect and help the righteous, the ones who are being oppressed. He is very, very depressed, very unhappy, and he is also giving quasi-religious scriptural quotations in favor of his argument that he should not fight. So we have some more coming up in text 36. Papam evashryadasman hatvetam atatayana tasman arhavayam hantum dhartarashtram sabandhavam swajanam hi katham hataiva sukhina syam madhava. Papam eva ashrayat, sinful activities, vices, we must take shelter of. Asman hatva etan, by killing all these people. Even though they are aggressors, atatayana. Therefore, we don't deserve to kill them, because the reactions we are going to get by killing them are going to be very, very bad. So even it is Dhartarashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra, the 100 sons, along with the Swabandhavan, the friends, Bhai Bandhu, Swajanam, those who are born in our kin, our kinsmen, family, extended family. How? By killing them. Katham hatva sukhina syam madhava. How will we become sukhi? Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune. So, we will be overcome by sinful reactions if we slay even these kinds of aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill our friends, our kinsmen, and even the sons of Dhritarashtra. What would we gain, O husband of goddess of fortune? How would we be happy by killing all these people? So he is addressing Kṛṣṇa again as Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune, implying that we will not have any good fortune if we do this. So there are all kinds of aggressors that have been classified in the Vedas as being worthy of being killed, attacked. A person who gives you poison, a person who burns your house down, one who attacks you with deadly weapon, and ones who take away, plunder your riches, take away your wealth, and one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. So these people are fit to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such people, but yet Arjun is wanting to deal with them in a very compassionate and forgiving and giving up actually way. Not so much as forgiving, but giving up. So he's in the giving up mode. Let it be. It is my karma. It is their karma. We hear this argument every day. This is my karma. Let it be. I should take no action. But he has the code of a Kshatriya warrior, and he's forgetting that. He is required to actually have this action, but he is trying to convince himself and get an endorsement from Sri Kṛṣṇa that yes, it is all right for you not to fight. So then we have text 37 and 38. Yadi api ete na pashyanti lobho pahita cetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra drohe cha patakam katham na gyayam asmabhi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapasyadhibi janardana. Regretful, depressed, O Janardhan, even though these men are overtaken by greed, and they don't see any fault in killing family and friends and quarreling with them, why should we, with the knowledge of sin, in other words, we are more knowledgeable, why should we engage in these acts? We are taking the high moral ground. We are superior to them. Let them do this destruction business. I have no stomach for it anymore, basically. The thing is that if you're a Kshatriya warrior and you're challenged, you jolly well fight. You can't afford not to fight. So he is now wanting to become in the pure Brahminical saintly mode. So there is a Brahmin, the saintly, knowledgeable, Vedic scholars, followers of a very strict path of spirituality. And then there are the administrators, warriors, protectors, Kshatriyas, whose job is to fight. And they can't suddenly become saintly, because everyone's nature is different. Kṛṣṇa says, Chaturvarnyam maya ashritam gun karma vibhagasa. I have divided all of human society. It doesn't even say human society. It says all of society. You'll find the same in the animal kingdom. By gun and by karma, by their quality, by their nature, and by their activities. So it's a combination of these two, and you are, according to your gun and karma, Kshatriya, basically. And so why this weakness? So Arjun goes on, text 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharme nashte kulam Kṛṣṇam adharmo abhibhivati yuta. Kulakshaye pranashyanti, destruction of the family. Along with the destruction of the family, we also get the destruction of Kula Dharma, Panashyanti. It becomes overcome, it is vanquished, it is defeated. The family traditions are defeated. So these are not mental family traditions that, what suits me, my convenience, what we've been following. These are family traditions that are coming down according to the Vedic rule book of Sanatan Dharma society, which is all a complete society aimed at getting liberation for each and every member of it, for all of them to get free of the binding consequences of karma. So it is not some minor dharma that we are talking about. It is not a minor tradition. It's a very major tradition. So, Kula Dharma Sanatana, that is eternal dharma. So he is clarifying that this, the eternal dharma as specified for the upliftment and benefit of mankind, we will be destroying that. Nashte kulam Kṛṣṇam madharma abhibhavati uta. So it is nashte kulam Kṛṣṇam, wholesale, massive, across the board. Everything will get finished. Adharma, irreligious, abhibhavati uta. It will transform to the irreligious, the adharma. So what happens when you have adharma? Everybody gets involved in irreligious practice, which takes you away from the pursuit of truthfulness and the pursuit of liberating yourself from the material binding consequences of karma. So, the tradition, how are they followed? They are coming down from the elders. So, he is implying that if the elders are also destroyed, there's no tradition giver left anymore. It's just a clean sweep across the board. We will lose everything. And when there is no guidance and no control from the elders, the youngers will go out of control, as they do. Over the years, everyone knows that the young people want to explore, they want to experiment, they don't really know what is in their ultimate best interest, and they end up doing all kinds of things in the names of exploration and self-exploration and finding oneself. And many of these are harmful to them for their health as well as for their life and their livelihood, and they create a great disturbance in their society. So you can see that happening today. So where the religious principles are not followed, there is actually this thing is taking place. So we have evidence of this today. So this is not something which is theoretical that Arjun is apprehending. He can see that what is going to be the consequence of such destruction. The purification process will stop. And their chance for spiritual upliftment, for spiritual salvation would be gone. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to kill all the people who are actually the repositories of this knowledge and wisdom and practical guidance. So that's a higher interest than my becoming king or getting a kingdom. So, I'll give it up because we are on the higher moral ground. So then he goes on further in text 40. Adharma bhibat Kṛṣṇa pradushyanti kula striya strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna shankara. Adharma abhibhivat pradushyanti Kṛṣṇa. Irreligion becomes predominant. And pradushyanti, what becomes pradushyanti? The kulastriya, the ladies of the family, they will become polluted, distracted, misled, and the principles of righteous womanhood, strishu, dushtasu, thus being so polluted, varshneya, the descendant of Vrishni, again a reference to Kṛṣṇa, including him in the family, because they're all descendants coming from there. So he is now saying, you're also a kinsman. Jayate Varna Shankara. Varna Shankara, unwanted, undesirable progeny. Varna Shankara. Like animals give birth in the forest, they mate with anything and anyone who is willing, and the population is not really looked after. So he's giving that example that we will might as well be as good as animals. So we will descend into an animal-like life where we are only gratifying our senses. We don't care for what is happening tomorrow. We do not care for the future result. And we are blissfully ignorant that we are going rapidly to a hellish condition. And I appeal to you to keep this whole family structure intact and avoid this unwanted, undesirable progeny where all the family traditions will be disrupted, the chastity and devotional aspect of the women will be besmirched, they will become polluted, and society will go to hell, basically. In fact. So, he is painting this huge picture of destruction of family traditions, of family values, of lack of direction, lack of purpose of life, and saying, what is the kingdom against all these losses? So I will rather not have the kingdom. Then he expands his thought process a little further in text 41. Shankaro narakayaiva kulagrinam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hesam lupta pindodaka kriya. Sankara Narakaya, these unwanted children, the unwanted population, Narakaya eva kula gnanam, they are definitely destined for this hellish life. Narak. Kula gnanam, those who destroy families, so we are going to end up in hell. And also, kulasya patanti pitra, hi esham lupta pinda udaka kriya, that we will certainly have stopped all family traditions, and in such disrupted and corrupted family structures, there will be no offerings of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. No pindadan will take place, and nothing will be offered to the ancestors. So what is the importance of that? Well, he is including them in the family tree, that there are certain ancestors who go to Pitralok, and sometimes they are not progressing in their spiritual evolution and going forward even in their material path, because they are being punished for sinful actions that they have done. And they may be suffering from all kinds of restrictions, one of which is ghostly body. You don't have a material body. And they cannot have even food, so they are wanting it, they have the thirst, they have the hunger, and there is no satisfaction for them. So particularly during the Shraddha, you do the Tarpan, which means they satisfy their hunger and their thirst, and they bless you and you help them to move on in their life, because that is the duty even towards the relatives who are in jail. So they are in a kind of a reform school or a jail. And so when you offer them the prasadam, which is the purified food from Vishnu, from Kṛṣṇa, they will get liberated. They will take the energy aspect of that food. The vehicle is the material aspect, which you cook and you offer, and then you also partake and you also feed them. These rituals are there for people in society, but those who are following a healing path, those who are following a devotional service path, this does not apply to them. So you are not required to do anything separately for the liberation of your forefathers or your ancestors or even people who are coming down in the next generation, because they are covered by an overall, you can say, ruling or reality, that those who have taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Mukund, Mukund is the aspect of Kṛṣṇa who gives mukti from material bindings. Only he can give, nobody else can give, only Mukund can give. He is the only person who is authorized to liberate you from your binding consequence karma, in other words, your karmic debts. And that you can do by having the healing energies of Reiki, the KQ force, or you follow a Brahminical path, the Vedic path, where you get spiritual initiation and you are working towards that, or any other kind of bona fide religious process which progresses you in that direction. So all kinds of obligation can be given up in pursuit of following this devotional healing methodology and path. And one who has taken to this path seriously, he has no duties, obligations either to the demigods, the sages, to living entities, to family members, humankind of all sorts of forefathers, and that is fulfilled by the automatic devotional service to the Supreme, to God, which as healers particularly you are doing. And how you are doing that is that you are not only liberating yourself from binding consequences of karma to go back to the spiritual world, back to Kṛṣṇa, back to God, but you are helping others to get there just by the act of your healing yourself. All those people who are connected to you in that karmic exchange, give and take, which people will deliver your positive and negative karma, for which again there will be binding consequences. And when you do healing, those people are released from those binding consequences as well. So you are performing a very huge, essential core service for Kṛṣṇa. So from the consideration of what you are actually doing, you are also on the devotional path towards the divine if you are seriously in that matter. And that is confirmed in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, the 5th chapter and the 41st shlok. Devarshi bhutapta nirnam pitranam na kinkaro nayam rini cha rajan sarvatmana ya sharanam sharanyam gato mukandam parihritya kartam. So, you are not required to do any obligations for people who are in the broader society, and all these people, the Devrishi, the Bhutapta, the demigods, sages, and the Pitranam, the ancestors. You are not required. You are not required to do that. Parikshit Maharaj is being told this in the Srimad Bhagavatam. These obligations are automatically taken care of. So you have nothing extra to do. So Arjun is not connecting with that understanding, obviously. So according to him, that this increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created, especially for those who are destroying the family traditions. They are certainly going to hell. And then he talks about how the whole background of the ancestors is also not going to be promoted to a better life. So lots of sinful reaction is going to be attracted to us. So that is chapter 1, text 41, and we will pause here today. And if we have any questions, and I will try and answer them. If you have any questions about these shlokas from 36, that basically it is not proper for us to kill all these aggressors, these greedy, envious people, because we can't gain anything. We will not be happy by killing our relatives. And even if those people see no fault in killing us, their relatives, we should take the higher moral ground. And with the knowledge of the sinful reactions that will incur, why should we engage in these acts? So with the destruction of all the family dynasty, the elders, the knowledge, the wisdom, everything is gone, and irreligious practice will overtake us. And when that happens, all the women in the family get easily corrupted, misled, polluted, and they are degraded from their path of proper womanhood, and lots of unwanted, undesirable progeny ensues, more or less like left to fend for themselves like animals. So animal life is what we are going to descend into if we destroy the family traditions, the family elders, and these unwanted progeny will also go to hellish life, and we are certainly going to hell because we are responsible for killing them. And all the ancestors, the wrath of the ancestors will also come on us because they are not being served anymore. So we are going to upset the whole universal order of society. So this is, giving up a kingdom is a small thing. So I am not very happy with this. So why should we do this? He's asking Kṛṣṇa. Questions?
So what is your guidance?
Well, you do the healing, and if you are following some tradition, you may follow it. If you are happy to follow that tradition and you enjoy it and you feel good about it, certainly you can do those things. However, for a healer, it is not necessary. For a person on the path, it is not necessary. You may do. But ultimately, they are being taken care of automatically by your process of healing. Because you are liberating not only yourself from binding consequence karma, you are liberating those who are connected to you with karma through the expansion of the bodily concept. So earlier we talked about how in the previous shloks Kṛṣṇa was being referred to by Arjun as Madhusudana. Madhusudana is the destroyer of the Madhu demon. And basically it is the demon of false ego. And the false ego is where we start thinking of our connectivity to family, my religion, my children, my relatives, my country. It's a very narrow kind of a view. So the devotional service is liberating you from narrow strictures and considerations, and there need not be any fear that what will happen if I do not follow the Shraddha ceremony or do not do the ancestor offerings. Because as we know what is the end of the Mahabharata, that everything was destroyed and the families were all killed. Very few people were left. So that disruption did take place, but those who are involved in devotional service, they are safe. And in any case, those who died on the battlefield or anywhere in the presence of Kṛṣṇa himself, as all these people did, they are liberated instantly. So they will get different levels of liberation depending on their previous karma and where they are at that point in time. So anybody who dies in front of Kṛṣṇa himself, they're not coming back. So those people are taken care of. Some of them are coming back. Given special responsibilities, they'll come back. Yes.
So these are questions depending on...
Yes, sure.
What is this concept of Pitralok?
Pitralok is where the ancestors go as a reform school. It's a planetary configuration where the ancestors are being reformed. They're in Department of Corrections.
So if an ancestor of mine
Yes.
has taken a reincarnation,
Yeah.
has taken birth again, what is the point in doing the service?
You don't know who has taken and who has not taken, because you have ancestors stretching back many generations. So there are sometimes you will find that when during the Shraddha particularly, some people have reported that the whole day they don't feel hungry or thirsty, or others have reported to them that they don't feel, and that is because some downline of theirs, progeny, is offering them the Shraddha and they are getting satisfied. So sometimes that happens also, those who are coming out of the Pitralok for their next birth. But there are lots more. There are lots more there. So 21 generations going back.
No, but that's in general. But there are, like in the South Indian tradition, we do that what is called Barsi every year
Yes.
for an ancestor. Okay?
Fine.
But what if that ancestor has already taken a rebirth, but we are still continuing to do
That you must. Yes, that's fine. They is still helping him. He will get a better placement and position. And the blessings will come to you in the form of fortune, good fortune. So there is an energy exchange in the universe for everything. So when you are making these offerings, you are also getting some benefit.
Okay, so what happens to people like me who don't have children, who will not do anything?
You are a healer, it doesn't matter. You are liberated.
No, but can we take that for granted?
Yes, you can take it for granted. That as a healer you are liberated. And it is the same question about what if you are a woman who is not married and doesn't have children, what will happen to you? You're fine if you're a healer. It makes no difference.
People who have children but who don't do anything for them.
Well, then they are going for the part, this business of destruction of family values. That whole paradigm will kick in. You can see it around you. The thing is, it's not necessary to be ritualistic traditionalist if you are following your highest dharma. All subsidiary dharmas are covered in the highest one. Just like $1 million have all the lakhs in it that you want. $1 billion has millions. So if you have $1 billion or many billions, you don't have $1 million problem anymore. If you have 10,000 rupees, you don't have a few hundred rupees problem. It's like that.
But then it comes back to that same basic question, what is the highest dharma?
The highest dharma is to liberate yourself, which is possible by service to Kṛṣṇa or to his energies or to the divine, basically. Not to the demigods, not to the sages mentioned in Bhagavatam, not to the human population. Your highest dharma covers all these. So we are not saying stop serving humanity. Certainly serve humanity. In fact, our basic fundamental nature is service only. If you look at it, you are not really doing anything for yourself as much as you are involved in a service exchange with other people. Even if you are a boss or a controller of some sort, or so-called independent, you are serving other people, whether you like it or you don't. You have certain assets, capabilities, talent, working ability, and all that you are doing, but you are touching many more people than you are touching yourself. You are doing all this in a connectivity of many people, a societal structure, a business structure, and a professional environment. So you are actually in service mode. So whether you are the leader, whether you are the boss, whether you are the worker, you are all serving actually each other. In your family, you may be serving your family members. Your family members may be serving you, whereas you may be head of a big corporation or have some important job where you have many employees under your direction and so on and so forth, and you think they are serving you or your purpose or your company, but you are serving them also. You are helping them to get ahead in life. You're giving them an opportunity to earn a livelihood and to progress and to, look after their families. So it's a constant service-related situation. There is no position which is free of service. Seva. Even the Prime Minister, the President of a country, he has all the forces under his command of the country. He is serving the country's purpose.
Question in the same line. So if the primary dharma is to serve Lord Kṛṣṇa or his energies and not the demigods, so you can live without fear that you have not done a Shivaratri puja,
Absolutely.
not done Navaratri puja,
Absolutely.
not done one
Yes.
Shraddh.
Yes, you can.
So does it absolve you of all that? That
It
is
does.
irrelevant?
It does. That is the verdict of all the knowledgeable scriptural authorities. Absolutely.
Then why did you run for all these pujas?
Because that is your tradition. You are doing, which pujas? Not any old pujas.
No, even pujas are for the demigods.
Yes, so that's why it is stated elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita that people of lesser intelligence worship the demigods for benefits, whereas they should actually come to me. Because the demigods have a very limited mandate.
So why do people not advise us on those grounds at all?
Because it's gets them an income. It's a commercial enterprise ultimately. And you feel safe. Demigods are more approachable perhaps in your mind than Kṛṣṇa.
It's like an insurance.
Insurance of a very poor kind.
Your life is insured.
Very poor kind. Yes, you had a question.
I'll just take forward the question of Ganesh.
Yes.
Asked. Sir, what we do is it in this, like we have a Ganesh Chaturthi, we have Navratra season. So if we chant any of the mantra like to be Om Namah Shivaya or to be mantra, whatever you mean, sometimes when you grow up, you may say you might have learned consciously, unconsciously.
Certainly.
Does it help you in your spiritual path in terms of, or is it just because we've been brought up in a way and if we do it, we feel more confident and secure internally. That is my first question.
A mechanical chanting of a mantra without initiation has limited benefits. Initiation means that you actually have the live connection between the mantra and the source of the mantra in terms of the power and the energy. Now, as a healer, you are pretty much empowered. Now, the question is, where do you plug yourself in? You may want to chant a particular mantra, that's fine. If you are not a healer, then it has got very limited benefit. And in some cases, you will get negative reaction also. Many of the mantras, particularly the ones that are starting with Om, are meant for being chanted by those who are initiated Brahmins, which means you have to be connected to those energies. That is the initiation aspect. And if you are not, then you are playing with fire. At the very minimum, it is not giving you anything good. When we were initiated into the Brahmin tradition, we had got all the Gayatri mantras, and we used to chant the mantras 3 times a day as recommended. And after we graduated to the healing aspect, we don't chant them anymore. And in between, I asked my spiritual master, because those mantras I had stopped chanting, and then suddenly I felt that maybe, same question, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I should be chanting those mantras, something will happen incorrectly or improperly. So I asked for those mantras, the mantras came, I looked at them and meditated on them, and I didn't want to chant them. I have them on my computer, I don't want to chant them at the moment, because I don't see the need. But when you are living in Devi Dham, that is this part of the universe which is the jurisdiction of Devi, one of the Gayatri mantras which we chant as Vaishnavas in the Vaishnav tradition, and is also, we've mentioned it on our website, and that is the mantra that is the seed that starts with Kleem. Kleem Kṛṣṇāya Govindāya Gopi Janna Vallabhaya Swaha. So that is one of the Gayatri mantras that we chant. And Kleem, according to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is the hexagonal form of the mantra. It's a 6-sided form of a mantra which rotates and actually pushes you towards liberation. Now, when you are doing your healing, now, a few years back, we were in a class and this mantra was being chanted, Kleem. Some mantra was being chanted with Kleem. Renuji was having some chanting. And this mantra appeared to me, so I just got up and I drew it on the board. I said, this is the mantra and this is the form, and you can chant Kleem. So as healers, each and every one of you has the Kleem symbol. Do you not?
Yes.
Yes. So you are complete in that direction also. So you've got the equivalent of a Brahminical initiation in the form of Kleem, which is the seed for liberation. So if you like, you should go back to the website and read the article again on Kleem. It's been written there for many years, it's sitting there. Refresh your knowledge. So you are actually complete when you are utilizing the form and the sound vibrations of the mantras that you have been given in the healing modalities of Reiki and the KQ force. There is no shortcoming. Yes, Gitanjali.
So when you talked about initiation of mantra, that means that we are getting initiation from the
Master.
master.
Yes.
For all
It
kind
cannot be from a book. It has to be from a live source.
for all kind of mantras,
Yes.
initiation is required.
Yes, it is required actually. That is correct. But when you are a Brahmin, you have an overriding passport.
Brahmin as in by birth.
There is no such thing as Brahmin by birth. Chatur Varnayam Maya Ashritam Guna Karma Vibhagasa. It is by gun and by karma, not by janam and family. Not at all. That is the stultified caste system. You can be born into a family of humble laborers and be a Brahmin by gun and by karma. You could be born in a Brahmin family tradition and be worse than a Shudra. So in Kali Yuga, everybody is considered to be born a Shudra in any case, or worse. Okay, last question, yes.
Sir, I look forward some more basically clarification for myself. I give you a situation when I ask that question is like I've been grown most of the time chanting by default Om Namah Shivaya.
All right.
So this is one situation. Second situation is generally when we go to Mata Vaishno Devi Dham and then we start our journey. So we tend to chant Jai Mata Di or Om and Di in Chamundayache in the process. So from that perspective, if you can give some clarifications, is it good we do that, or
if you're going there, certainly you should chant those, because then you're paying your respects to these very elevated entities, elevated beings. Why will you disrespect them? Fine.
And also we stay focused and we define.
Yeah, you're going for what? The purpose is, what purpose are you going there for?
Purpose.
It is important to have a knowledge of why you are going somewhere.
Okay.
If you are doing it just out of ignorance because of some family tradition or out of fear, there's not much you're getting out of it. So let me ask you, what purpose is it when you go to Vaishno Devi or anywhere else?
Specifically for the Vaishno Devi, I try and attend that part is explaining it. I get a lot of satisfaction. It gives me a lot of confidence when we go climb and then we come back. It reinstates basically a sense of achievement and then confidence, and then it gives me a basically boost in my basically day-to-day life. These are the, and overall I feel happy that I have done something good, and then the process I.
Are you saying you just go there and come back and that journey is what it is for you?
Yes and no. But since we are getting into the deeper discussion, so I've been very honest in saying yes and no. When I say yes is, it gives me as a person.
Right, so what is the no part?
No part is basically I feel yes, we have to be eventually elevate to spirituality, and then at a minimum level I have this understanding, because I even just to clarify is I am not very comfortable even chanting most of the mantra. I just can chant 4 or 5 only, even though I've been.
No, I'm asking something slightly different.
Sir, sorry.
When you go there, what do you go there? What is your mental state? What is your desire when you go there? What purpose do you have? All these things are, I understand.
I have gratitude and thank you for everything, whatever I'm having it at a basic level.
Then what else? Anything more?
Again, I shared, sir, basically since the process is complete.
When you're saying thank you for everything, what are you? Who are you thanking?
God Almighty.
No, she is the source.
I am not aware, sir.
No, so this is my point. So this is ignorance.
Yeah, true, sir.
This is superstition. Just because you're going to some place which is recognized spiritually or religiously or as a PowerPoint, and you do not know why you're going there, it is ignorance. It is superstition. Anything you do without knowledge of it is superstition. So you should examine what is it that you should actually be doing there. Purpose. Yes.
So I also go, but there is no purpose. But when you go there, the whole process, the journey, you feel very good. When you finish your darshan and you're on the way back, you feel very empowered. There's only a feeling of joy and happiness. There is no request, there is no demand, there is no asking for this or asking for that. But the journey is very interesting.
Yes.
And the journey makes you happy.
Yes.
I go that maybe once a year, twice a year, but
Okay.
the journey is what I go for.
Fine.
It is interesting.
Yeah. So if you are going there without, with a feeling of, what would you say is the feeling that you go there for? If you're not going there to ask anything, if you're not going there for anything else, is this like a holiday for you?
You can put it that way if you want, but I don't ask anything.
No, not what I want.
No,
I'm
sir,
asking
because there's
you.
nothing to ask anywhere.
So why are you going there?
The whole journey is very interesting.
No, interesting, many things are, but
No,
this
but
one, why are you
the
there?
consciousness of the
As a
place.
family,
Huh.
because we were fortunate to go every year. So if like this time of the year ending, we were just thinking it's been almost year is going to complete, and this year we haven't done darshan of Mata Rani. So this is, I think, the primarily first thought that this year, what happened, why we couldn't go, what went wrong. This is the first thing which comes up in mind.
So you have the anxiety that I didn't go.
Gee, sir, it happens. That it's been, because every year, fortunately, in the beginning of the year, now year is going to come to an end, and we were not able to go this year. So we are just wishing that we are.
You can still go now if you desire.
Yes, we are planning to.
Okay, good. Yeah. So you should go if you have the desire to go there. Why not?
So this comes, and a very strange thing comes that we keep on chanting when we are going up, and the moment we enter to the gufa and we do the darshan, I generally forget to ask anything. I just do darshan and then move on.
Yes. So basically that is the correct approach. That once you're there, or you are going there with some motivation, but when you end up there, you're not having any questions, you're not having any fears, you're not having any anxieties, you're just happy to be there in the presence of those energies, and you're happy to receive blessings. So it is the same thing. Sometimes people come and say, when we go to a spiritual master and say, we had so many questions, but once we are there, we have nothing. Yes. So that is good. Because what you are doing, actually, the exchange is taking place, that you are going there with a feeling of gratitude. It could be a generalized feeling, it could be a specific feeling. There is some thankfulness, there is some happiness. There is also expectation, I'm going to get some benefit just by going there, otherwise you are not going there, believe me. So you may say it is just a journey, I'm just going there, I feel good. No, you are getting a benefit, that's why you're going, otherwise you will not go. You can say, I'm feeling happy, if I go there, that's a benefit. There has to be a benefit for what you are doing. It's a good thing that you are going there, you're getting a benefit, you're feeling happy, you feel you've come away with something, you've left some burden behind and you have taken something good and brought it back. That is the energy exchange, actually. You are giving away your negativity and you are picking up some positive energy that will help you. If you use that to progress your spiritual life, to progress your spiritual life in the material aspect as well, using the spiritual principles, wonderful. Nothing wrong with that. But instruction, very categorical, unequivocal instruction from Kṛṣṇa. Those who worship the demigods have a poor fund of intelligence. Poor fund of intelligence. They are less intelligent people. Because they are only going to go to the point that that authority is authorized. So you can go to Devi, you can go to Lord Brahma, you can go to Lord Ganesh. You will be still circling in the material universe. You are not getting out of this. If your purpose is to get out of this, then the only person who can help you is Hari or Mukund, the one who defeats all obstacles, Hari, and one who liberates you from the material binding consequence karma. If that is your goal, nothing else is important, relatively. We are not saying disrespect them. The demigods, do not disrespect the Devis. So yes, they are superior entities. But I don't want that anymore. I want out. If you are interested in making your jail sentence comfortable, you want a high definition TV, you want extra air conditioning, you want all this, then you go to the Devi. It can come quickly and it can disappear also very quickly. It's very chanchal. Devi is very chanchal. The only place she stays is on the chest of Kṛṣṇa or Vishnu. So if I have Kṛṣṇa and Vishnu, Devi is included. If I'm hugging Kṛṣṇa, I'm hugging Devi, Devi is hugging me. So what is my problem? I have no issues. So if you go with that understanding, you're fine.
So also what it helps is to disconnect from day-to-day daily chores or life.
So you're going on a vacation, that's no problem.
And then you come back and then
you go on a religious vacation, a spiritual vacation, yes, sure.
You get a lot of positive this thing and
of course, you get all
sense
that.
of achievement.
Yes, but how long does that last and does that actually translate into anything? I may get, a big boost by people telling me how great I am and all list my achievements and I feel great. Where does that get me? So this is only pumping your false ego. So you have to be very, very selectively looking at this thing.
So, but when you were referring it to Lord Krishna and Hari, are we referring it to the dhams like Vrindavan and Mathura, or?
Yes, Vrindavan is the intrusion into the material world of the spiritual, basically. That is, the spiritual has come to the material world. Golok Vrindavan, that is the center of the lotus of Golok Dham, of the spiritual worlds, the absolute central point, and that is Vrindavan. There is a hidden Vrindavan in Navadvip, and where our spiritual master's ashram is, that is at Kolerganj. Govind Maharaj's ashram was there. Before him was Sridhar Maharaj, and that is the hidden Giriraj.
So why is it called hidden Vrindavan?
Because it's not declared, it is mystic. In fact, Navadvip is, that area is a representation of all 7 lokas.
It's not visible as such.
It's hidden, just like Vrindavan is hidden. That's even more hidden. Yes.
You've seen, sir?
I've been there, sure, number of times.
So there are many power points like 12 Jyotirlings.
Yes, there are. Yes. We have visited many of these.
Ages.
Yes.
So if we go those places, see, visit 12 Jyotirlings or go to Katyani Mandir or go to just saying Vaishnu Mata. So we do Devi Stotram, Kundika Stotram. So all these things are part of our spiritual journey?
No, they're part of your religious journey. They're not part of your spiritual journey. They are part of your religious journey. Because all of them are aimed, these what you have mentioned are all aimed at getting benefits in the material universe. You have to understand this very clearly. If you approach them in the right way, they can guide you towards the spiritual. Because Lord Shiva, for example, is known as the best of all Vaishnavas. He is the best. He is also Vaidyanath, the master of all physicians and healing. He is the master of your third eye chakra, all the mystic powers and potencies. He is the gatekeeper between the material and the spiritual. He is a phenomenal entity. But he can't give you liberation. He can guide you. He can't liberate you. On the other hand, your connection with the spiritual master can liberate you. That is also stated by all spiritual authorities. So where you accept Lord Shiva as a spiritual master, if you can, if somehow you are able to do that, and you can do that in the Shaivite tradition, you can accept Kṛṣṇa in the Brahma tradition, you can accept Narad Muni in the Narad Muni, in fact, is the first spiritual master of all mankind, and he is in the Kumar tradition, and then you have the Devi tradition. So you have these different four schools. So if you get initiated there, yes, fine. But then the problem is you don't have multiple initiations. I've got one access or pass through this one access pass there. You'll get absolutely confused. You won't know where to go. So each one will follow according to their propensity, to their inner calling. And the most wonderful thing about this is that in the healing, everything becomes equalized. One person could be following Lord Shiva, another one could be following Devi, somebody could be following Kṛṣṇa. You're all eventually going to get to the Kṛṣṇa point. Because that is the purpose of all the other schools also, to take you to the point of liberation. So in our Sampradaya, we are having people from all kinds of traditions. We have Nimbarka Swami, we have so many people, we have Sridhar Maharaj, we have lot of South Indian masters are in our tradition, a lot of North Indian masters. So it's eclectic, it is all over the place. But they're all having that one vision. They're ultimately connecting to Kṛṣṇa.
Does the healers belong to any sampradaya? Do you have one?
Well, we are in the Brahma Naradiya Sampradaya, so you can consider yourself in the body of Vaishnava Brahma Naradiya Sampradaya coming down. Basically, that is the royal original Sampradaya, coming from the sun, Surya. Brahma Sampradaya. Yeah.
So what is the definition or recognition of a healer? Whom do we call a healer?
The person who is healing, who is harmonizing, who is able to channel healing energies.
It can be just the Reiki way or other ways.
No, if you are a Brahmin, technically you should be a healer. At some point, Brahmins had this capacity. I remember when I was a Brahmin, and I remember the children used to get fever. Fever was not going down. There is one procedure where the Brahmin takes water in his mouth and then he throws it in the face of the person who is sick and they get well. And we tested that a number of times. It works. So, you have to find a good Brahmin. Okay? So, you must keep healing, and that's the way to go. So, we will conclude here today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay, thank you, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to Bhagavad Gita for All, a lecture series by Nalan Narula on www.gettingpositivekarmanow.com. Chapter 1. Observing the armies on the battlefield and the consequences of war.